Welcome, everyone, to another podcast episode of So You Woke Up. I am here with Sabine, how to be an Earth Mom, and we're going to have another conversation about how it is to live outside the matrix, and just some stories and some advice and some stuff like that. So I'm going to ask my first question that I'm going to ask everyone is woke you up, or what was it that you had to like made it so that you're like, I can't do this anymore? Whether it was a spiritual awakening, whether it was like, I can't do whatever it is, what happened to you?
So what happened to me, I think it was during COVID and I had two young children. I think that they were around like three and one, 2.5. And I was having a really challenging time. I really didn't want to be a mom and I was working and they were very present and I was having a lot of feelings towards my children in not a very positive way. I was screaming every day. I was really irritated by them. And I was like, why do I have these children? Like, they're in the way of me achieving something in corporate, like in the corporate world. That is how I saw it. Like, then I would use to travel and be like, oh, I'm not with my children, so I can be myself again. But that person no longer existed. So, there was it was a whole thing that I was going through. So I was actually going to go to Disney, a girls trip with my two girls, um, and with two friends. So only girls. So two friends of mine, and they also have two girls. And I went to the US and I went to a seminar of my business coach at the time. And he was talking about, oh, I'm having this retreat in Mexico. And they were going to sit with grandmother ayahuasca. And I didn't know anything about that. The one thing that I knew for sure, B, was just that I could not go on any longer like the way I was. So
It
the
just
retreat,
wasn't.
it was bad. And I was really an uptight person. Like I was really uptight. I was really in my ways, like my way or the highway. Like I don't know who the fuck I thought I was. Like in all
Greedy.
seriousness. So
I think there's a lot of people relating right now.
I know. And the retreat was like 3 or 4 weeks later. And that was when I was supposed to go to Disney. So I came back and I told my husband, I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to go to Disney. I'm going to go to Mexico and I'm going to a plant medicine retreat. That stirred up a lot of shit. Like, honestly, it stirred up a lot of shit. Even my husband saying, he said, if you're going, then I'm leaving you. That's what he said, because a lot of people started to read about what is ayahuasca. And then you have
Yeah.
all these horror stories. And myself, I didn't check out anything in regards to the medicine. My soul knew
It was
that I
something
had to
told
go.
you.
I knew.
Yes.
And then I was getting the confirmation. I was hearing ayahuasca and I was just receiving the synchronicities and all the confirmation that I was supposed to go. So I went and it woke me up. Like it woke me up. I was able to see myself, or I was really nasty person. I was really a bitch. Like I was really not a nice person. And I had a lot of realizations. But in the beginning, during sitting with the medicine, there was one point that I was looking around and I was like, oh my God, I have gone insane. What am I doing here? Who are these people? Like I almost wanted to run away. Like it was very
Yeah.
confronting. It was very deep. That was also
All
the
those
first
sounds.
time. Yes, but it was also the first time that I felt love for myself for the first, like I was holding myself, kissing myself. I've never felt that amount of love, because I believe that based on the consciousness that we have, we're only able to experience what God, spirit, or however you want to call it is. So based on our own consciousness, we are able to experience God.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
So
what we allow, because that's what we are, our own creators, because we're part of source. We are, yeah. So like they can only work with us as much as we allow them to because of
yes,
free
yes.
will.
So that was really intense. It was really confronting, but I left a different person after a week. I started to work with grandfather tobacco. It's called hape, like this Amazonian snuff. I started to work with that. It helped me ground and so many revelations, and that is what changed my whole life. So I came back and my whole life changed. And then is when my whole journey started. I think I went there in July. And a couple months later, I think it was in October or November, I went to Peru. I went to do a dieta again with grandmother, ayahuasca, like plant medicine. For me, what woke me up is plant medicine. But I'm
That was
also,
your thing.
yes, that was my thing.
But you were so
And this,
against, like before that, like you didn't even know what it was, right? You were just like, I'm
no,
in the corporate, I'm just thing. I'm supposed to have kids. I'm supposed to do this thing. You were
yes.
literally living the programming.
I was living the program. I
And
didn't want kids. That's the thing. Like
yeah,
I didn't want them and I had them. So it was just
why did
everything.
like if you were like why did you have it? Was it a part of you felt like this was what you were supposed to do?
Also, yes, it was part of that. I thought like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then, my
So
husband
part
really
of the
wanted it.
programming.
So then I got pregnant and I was also whole thing. And I got pregnant very quickly after that also. And then I had a little bit of an awakening happening already when my daughter was 5 days old. She had a brain hemorrhage for more than half of her brain
Oh,
because I didn't feel
yeah.
connected to her at all.
Yeah.
Like I had a baby and I was like, I told my husband, like, can you bring my computer? Like,
Yeah.
let me do something. So that is when I realized, oh wow, this is my baby and something can happen to her. So it has been a whole process. So, but that is when I really started.
Yeah. And it sounds like for you, and some of us wake up very young, and some of us know, and some of us don't, and some of us go through it. And the thing that I think about this, though, is that we always know. Like, but there's some times where we're not supposed to wake up until a certain time,
Hmm.
fully awakened at a certain time. And that's why sometimes I'm like, you're never too old and it's never too late. I'll tell you that. But it sounds like for you, it's like you were doing all these things and this is this thing. And you got to the point where, and it could have been nudged. Do you feel like there was some nudges before this, but you kind of were just like, that's nice. I'm not going to actually listen to that. And just there.
Yes.
And then it got to the point where I think it sounds like for you, you didn't want to be a mom, but it happened. And now
Mhm.
you know that, like, and probably the stuff that you've been learning and stuff is that everything is divine timing. And like,
Yes.
even if you don't want, you know what I mean? Like for me, I have no kids. And when
Mhm.
my bipolar went away, it was like, do you want them? And I really sat with myself and I was like, no. And they told me that was not my path,
Okay.
whether even if I did want, you know what I mean? It wasn't my path. So that was a thing. But for some people, it's like they don't want them or whatever. But for you, something had, you were supposed to, and now you have three, right?
Yes.
You were,
Yes.
yeah, you were supposed to. So having your daughter kind of woke you up. And it sounds like maybe if you didn't have these kids, you would have still be right. So,
Yeah.
now,
For sure.
yeah. So now you are literally how to be an earth mom. And you are literally like these kids that you never wanted are now one of the main things that are propelling apart with your light language, with your stuff, with the way that you're
Yes.
doing it. And you're like, this is where I'm supposed to be because there's so many other men and women that are in this and they're like, well, what's happening for that?
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, there's a way to alchemize this. So do you feel like I know when we're on your calls, you talk about your youngest and how he's just
Mhm.
tell a little bit of, I want you to say a little bit about how this youngest one of yours just calms you. Like, and he just like on our calls, he just shows up and he's like, I'm here to like,
Yeah. So
start.
he works a lot in the astral. So I have been at times, I'm participating in my light language community in calls and I'm doing some stuff. And then he wakes up and he's there, he's being present and he's a lot, he's very high frequency. He's a light. Like I know that he just by his presence, he's providing codes to the earth, to the people, everybody that needs to receive it. He's a magnet everywhere I go. With him, it's like people that don't even see him, like they're very drawn to him. And the other day I was doing in my light language community, we were doing an attunement. to channeling the birds. So really attuning to the language of the birds so that we can tap into the frequency and,
Yeah.
and speak their language. And towards the end, Zane, he woke up and my mentor was like, "Oh, wow, is Sabine, is that the baby?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's the baby." She's like, "Yeah, he's very present and he does a lot of work." That was not the first time. He does a lot of work in the astral and then he just lets his voice be heard and to just spread the codes, everything that people need to receive. And it was really funny because his guides really stepped forward, his Lyran guides. And they were confirming like, yeah, he knows what's up. Like he knows what's up.
Yeah, and if you had stayed asleep, he wouldn't probably be here.
No, he wouldn't.
So
No. It's a very
you
special
were
story also with him, how that
yeah.
happened. So yeah, I mean, it was really magical because I think that I just got pregnant, like literally. And my oldest daughter, her name is Asia, she came to me one day and I was sitting and she came to me and she put her ears to my belly and she said, "Mommy, I'm going to have a baby brother. I can hear his heart." And I was like, "Oh my," I was like, fingers crossed. I hope not. Like seriously, I was like, "Are you serious?" Because my children are 6 and 7, so
Yeah.
it's been a
So
while
and
since
he's
my
yeah.
baby. So time went by, and I was like, "Yeah, right." I told my husband, and then later it turned out I was pregnant. It was going to be a boy, and then I was talking. I was very connected to his soul. I was really, really connected to his soul, and my remembrance of my soul language got activated whilst I was pregnant with him because I went to another retreat in Costa Rica and I sat with psychedelics. So I am a mother that I believe a lot in plant medicine. I work with plant medicine, and I also did that during, the certain stage of my pregnancy. And everything just magically has been falling into place ever since. So then one day I'm talking to his soul and I'm like, "Okay, talk to me. What is your name?" So his name, Zane, came to me. Next morning, my daughter walks by and she's like, going to the restroom. She walks by, she sees me in the kitchen. She walks by, she walks back, and she's like, "Hey, mommy, what do you think of the name Zane?" And I'm like, wow,
Sounds
yeah.
like your daughter is like this is
Yes.
your oldest daughter, right?
This is my oldest. Yes.
And I think, well, this is the thing too. Like, I feel like this is what I'm getting to about this is like, okay, I don't want to have kids, right? And then you birth the first one, the daughter. She's like, "Mom, there's a baby in you. There's this," you
Yes.
know what I mean? And this right here, and now, do you see like now that you're awake
Hmm.
and outside the matrix or outside the things and vibing in this way, do you see your daughter for who she is now? Like, what kind of,
Yeah, I
you're
do.
like, okay,
And there's always there always have been signs. Like I know that she's
yeah,
here to
it's
teach
just you
me.
didn't, yeah,
Yes, she's here to teach me unconditional love, and she's very connected. Like I come from Pentecostal, like Christian religion from my mom's side. I have
ooh,
pastors in my family, and
I feel you on that.
I would go to people asking for advice to people that are not living what I wanted to live, right? So that was
Right.
also a huge revelation. Like going to my grandmother and she's kind of really, there's a lot of feminine healing in my lineage that I really had to do. So my grandmother is kind of a bit of person, and so was I, like a mean person. And I
You
would
just
go to
kind of
her.
adapted.
Yeah, so then I would go to her for advice, but I was asking the wrong person. Like, you want to go to someone asking about money, but they have huge debt. Like, how is
Yeah.
this person going to advise me?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot, and I know that my children are here. I know they are the teachers, and honestly, they are the leaders, and they're here to teach me. They're here to teach us, and that is also a big thing. That transitioning from the Matrix CD, but then having these starseed children, like truly, truly pure beings that give you
Yeah.
so much medicine that it's like there's no instructions for this, right? How do you raise these children that are here to teach you? Then it comes to another deeper level with working with your ego because I am supposed to be the mother. I am supposed to know everything. I'm supposed to, no, I'm supposed to keep them safe. I'm supposed to
Yeah.
care for them, to give them love, to give them food, and to provide for them. But that's
Yeah.
it. That is, I think, V, that is one of the, I think, most difficult things that, my children, they chose me. They chose all of us. Me and my husband, they chose us both. And
As
we are
parents.
just, yes, and we are just only their blood family. You know, I
Yes.
don't know. It doesn't, I believe that we're soul family also. We have chosen this together as a new
Yeah.
earth family, right? As
Yes.
a new earth family, as new earth leaders, pioneers. And it's um it's interesting. So that is also still very deep. We're never done. So that is still something that I'm working
Oh yeah.
through deeply within my core, because I come from being like control freak, OCD, cleaning all the time, wanting to control people, even my husband, my children. And it's
Thing, and you can only
yes,
control yourself. And it's
I
so
know.
hard to come from that because I come from that too. And I feel like if I could control everything, it's going to be okay. But every time I
Yeah.
did, it was terrible. It was like I choked everything and then something didn't go my way. So then I would be angry or this stuff. And I could only imagine having kids and trying to choke the kids. Like I
Yeah.
remember my mom did the best that she could, but that's how she was raised. So it's like control and this stuff. And we now, yeah, especially you and me and
Hmm.
everyone that's kind of, especially now in this new earth thing going on, it's like literally none of that works. What works is love. Love is a currency, unconditional love, love. And so being open to being taught,
Hmm.
while having boundaries of yourself, obviously, but like being taught to being open to whatever is unfolding for you in this earth, in this whatever is going
Hmm.
on, that is the most important part. And it sounds like a lot of us, there's a lot of people like you that were very much like, if to succeed, I need to have money. I need to do this.
Yes.
Actually, my husband really wants to have kids, so I don't, but I will because this is a
Hmm.
part. This goes back all the way to like centuries ago of this, all this stuff, right? So another thing too, when we wake up too about the grumpiness too, is like we realize this and then we're like, then we get angry at ourselves for being such dicks.
Hmm. Yes.
And I think you
Let's
feel with that.
apologize. Yes.
Yeah. And then you're like, I got to apologize to myself.
Yes.
And then I got to
Yes.
give myself grace because I know that I was doing the best with what I had at the time, but now I got to be better. Now I can't go back. I can't go back to being a dick. Like I have to be this who, but that's a part of the road too, because when you do something for so long, it's like sometimes you find yourself doing
Hmm.
that out of habit. And then you're be
Yes.
like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. And being aware. And that's part of the process of deconditioning and waking up is giving yourself the grace when you do react in the human body. And
Yes. That's challenging because we're so programmed, right? It's a program. So automatically, even if we don't want to, something happens, we already react, right? The body is used to something. So it's really breaking down, and then it's still different stages that we are going through, right? We are becoming aware. We're starting to really embody the change, so we are no longer being triggered. So we are creating new agreements with cells, new agreements, new beliefs, everything. So we are making space, we're clearing up. I had to clear up all of the shit, but not only from this lifetime, right? From so many lifetimes
so many.
prior, from all the things that we have been going through. And what I think is funny is that a lot of times, people think like we were chosen, like we are the chosen ones. We can't come here for a mission. No, we chose this ourselves. We chose this human body. We chose this life, this person for the people that we are blueprinted to work with, right? That is why I always say like we are all of us, we are all indigenous to Mother Earth. So I can still have a medicine shamanic background because when we are here, we're able to tap into the remembrance, the wisdom, and the knowing of our soul, right?
Yeah.
So if we know that we are all souls, we are all something different, then the outside does not matter. I have chosen this body. this person for all of the people that I'm here to work with, no matter what I look like, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
that I feel like that is something sometimes or a lot of times still a thing.
Yeah.
So,
It's like,
that we're, yes. So, how do I look like? How can I say that I'm XYZ if I don't look a certain way? But we cannot forget that we don't only come here with the knowledge of this human
yeah.
body,
Of
this
this,
human,
yeah.
of the meat suit, how
Yeah.
you always call it.
Yeah. The meat suit.
The
Yeah.
meat
We
suit.
come with that. Yeah. And it's like, and and I see that a lot sometimes too, where it's like, we'll just say you come,
Hmm.
like you could be in a past life, you could have been very colored, and then this one, you glow like a glow stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that what's
I
inside
love that. I love that.
what's
And
inside
that's
of
what I
the
mean.
yeah,
Thank
what's
you.
inside of the soul, because you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I this was my thing, and some people would get kind of offense, but I was like, all right, line up every type of color of human out and skin them all. Tell me what they look like.
I know.
And it's like, we all the same, the blood's the same
Hmm.
color, the innards are the same color, all of it's the same meat. So when, you come out and like some of us, are coming from the star beans are blue
Hmm.
or pink or lavender, or we had the shiniest skin. We shine like we were, a part of, you know, that movie where that guy sparkled. You know what? I actually watched all those. I can't remember right now. Oh my God. Whatever. The vampire sparkly guy. Whatever. Like, what if we had that? We remember in our soul, because this is we're spiritual beings having a human experience. That is what matters in that soul. And that's why sometimes when you see someone, it's like, how do I know you when I've never even
I
spoken to you
know.
ever? The soul. So the soul bypasses gender. It bypasses the skin color. It bypasses your hair color, eye color, your ancestors from like, let's say you were born into something here. So it's like, okay, in this lifetime, your ancestors were this. But to be truth that our ancestors were all different from all different life.
Hmm.
It's all different. And when we come to realize that, that also takes away the separation
Hmm.
that we have so
Oh, yes.
cultivated, that has been so cultivated, especially in some religions, of the separation, because we are not separate, but we all have different parts to play.
Yes. Yes.
So that's different than, it's just like this, my little right hand right here
Hmm.
cannot make me walk or talk or see or poop or anything, right? But it has its own thing, but it's connected to my body. We are all different parts. If you want to get like whatever, that's what we
Hmm.
are. So we all have different functions though. So, not putting yourself in a box and be like, I need to be like this person. I mean, even as a mother, be like, I need to be the mother that I'm supposed to be for this my children picking me. And that's, I think, another thing too in parenthood and stuff like that is like, it's like, I'm not doing it like this person, therefore
Hmm.
I'm doing it wrong. No. If you follow your soul of how to do parenthood,
I agree.
that's why you're like how to be an earth mom, because you're like, my soul knows, but I'm on the earth right now.
And it's like what Jesus said, right? That is like, how can we live on this planet, but how can we be, okay, wait, so what is it again? How can we live on this earth but not be
The
this,
earth.
right? So how can we, yes. So how is it that? Yes.
It's like to be
Yes.
of the earth, but not in the earth, but not of it. And
Yes,
that's
but
just
not.
like not, yeah, not letting yourself become, because the earth and stuff is very, the 3D, it's very
Hmm.
solid and stuff like that. And it is very good for us to walk on. So we don't just float to space and explode. Like great. But like that's why the balance of even if you go into your 12D, balancing the 12D into the 3D. Like
Hmm.
that's why there's layers, but like they're all connected. And that's why sometimes spending so much time in the 5D will get you somewhere. Spending too much time in the 9D will get you to, you'll get stuck. You have to be able to flow through all of them because they're all a part of what is here to happen for us.
Hmm.
And this brings me around to like how we do this. So from what I know from you, one of the biggest things that has come for you as an ability, because usually I ask people what it is, but I feel like the light language is yours.
Yes,
Did you
it's
did, did you feel this before this? Did you feel anything before this, or was it like more of like a, oh, this is new, but I makes me feel at home?
so it's very funny and beautiful that you asked. When I think about the abilities, that I've always known, is that I've always been a channeler. I've always been channeling, but like in conversations, telling people exactly what they need to hear. So just as an example, in my corporate job, I'm a consultant, so I advise hotels strategically how they can make millions of dollars. And I do this for a very big client in the US, and they're very known. And I will be having conversations I will be having strategy calls, right, with general managers or director of revenue. And we will be talking, and all of a sudden, I'm talking about certain things, and this other person on the line is crying. Oh my God, this is exactly what I needed to hear today. And like, so those things always have happened for me, but that I did not necessarily acknowledge or saw as a gift.
As a
People,
gift.
yeah, as a gift, like because you know, we channel we channel every day, the whole day. We just all channel differently, and I'm
Yeah.
just a natural channeler, and that is how I work. Like I would be having partners calling me, partners in terms of hotels. I mean, like,
Yeah.
hey, Sabina, I want to quit my job. What do you think? What should I do? Like, in all seriousness, and they will be all changing their lives except me.
Yeah.
I'm still now doing the same thing, transitioning to how to be an earth mom. So I've always already been a channeler, a medium, right? A
Yeah.
radio station. And then
You
I got
just didn't think it was in this like
in,
the realm that it is now. Like you didn't see
yes,
that it was
yes,
this is part of the reason of why you were here, I guess, or something that was
yes,
important.
yes, yes.
And that's
So
changed.
that's changed. So then I got activated with my light language, and it had to be at that moment of time. And I also had to be pregnant, by the way. So everything had to be because I designed it this way. I
Yeah,
know
you
that
picked it.
I designed it, I picked it, and it is also when Dawn and I met, and we have a big mission together.
You
Um,
do.
that we do, and we designed when we were going to meet, and how everything happened, and then I got activated with my light language, and that was the first time, sister, that I felt, not I, my soul. My soul for the first time remembered who the fuck I am, why I'm here, and I was just able to speak in my language, because our soul language is oftentimes, I mean, light language is the language of universal love,
Yeah.
right?
That's why there's so many.
Yes, and it speaks
That's why you'll be
directly.
speaking one and then like 2 seconds later another one will come in and it's a whole um thing of that. That's why sometimes that will come in for you, right? Like where it's just like because
Yes,
it's universal,
it's
it's somebody saying something. Yeah.
yes, correct. And then oftentimes when our soul language is the one of our proudest lifetime. One of our proudest lifetimes, because we can be, there's different extraterrestrials. So for example, my soul language is Arcturian. Arcturian,
Right.
they're very funny. They're master encoders. And I know that that is one of the parts that I'm here to do, to bring codes to the earth, to receive codes from the earth, and then, doing the grid work, and then be doing
Yeah.
that all over the world. And so those guys are always very present for me, but I know that I'm also Palladian. Like I also have roots there. So we have different lifetimes as different beings. And then, the guides, they come forward and they're very present. And it is the most beautiful gift that has been gifted to me. And just being able to be an activator to guide other people home, right? Home within your
Right.
soul. Like that is, and I know that you have the same thing because when all of this work that I have been doing, deep shadow work, and I'm still going through it, it has brought me deep acceptance of self, a deep acceptance of who
Yes.
I am, no longer being afraid of all of my gifts. Like I am here to use them all. I am here to
Yeah.
use them all. But it's also kind of scary. Like when you just
Oh, it's
awake there,
scary.
you have to trust someone that you don't know, which is yourself, your intuition, because we've been so programmed. So then all of a sudden, I remember the my Maisa, she said, after I had my first retreat sitting with grandmother, she was like, Sabina, you're such a beautiful being. You only have to be yourself. I was like, okay, amazing. I came home, was
How
like,
do I do that?
and then I came home, I was like, but who am I? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even
Like,
know
who
who
am
I am.
I?
So yes. So then and then I have to trust this unknown person that I have been blocking for so long. I have to trust my own intuition. I have to tap in. I have to trust all of the information that I'm receiving. So what happens then, right? So okay, great. I'm a light worker, I'm a medium, I bring messages, and all of that is amazing. But then you go through the process of, okay, I'm hearing this, I'm feeling this. Oh wait, can I trust this? Is this real? Like, is this happening? So then
This is
we
my
then we're,
life.
then we are going to look for confirmations, right? We're going to pay other people to tell us, no, this is true, that is true, and we've known it all along. But it's just like, how can I come to a place of discernment, of sovereignty, right? Of okay,
Yes.
this is why, because in all honesty, it's kind of scary to know how powerful we are. Not just me, you, all of us, like all of us
Yeah.
human beings, like to get to that realization and then owning it and not
Yeah.
feeling arrogant or certain things about it, right? All of those
A lot
freaking
of the
brain.
programming
Yes.
that says that that we have to be humble, that we have to do it, and it's not helping anyone.
I know.
Us not stepping, and now there is power with corruption. There is. When you come from power, from light, from source, from the inners, and this is exactly what I've done. Like I literally, they woke me up and they were like this, and I'm like, but who am I? Like, who am I? And as I remember, when I had a past life and I remember 20 lives in one past life reading, 20 of them or more, maybe there was more, I don't
Wow.
know. Yeah, it was all at once. And all of them were just showing me how powerful it was. Like, and what do I do now? And it's like, okay, and then I do believe that there are people out there to activate us, but then there's sometimes where you outgrow them. So you have to be like, okay, well, this person was my big mentor, but now I don't go back to them. What do I do? And it's because all these people that are activating you, all these things that are happening are leading you back to you. So let's say
Yes.
you lead yourself back to you, like you and me. And then we
Mm-hmm.
start activating others by being examples. And then they start waking up and then they find somebody else, whether they come to us for sessions or they go to somebody
Yes.
else. But the whole point, I think, this is a little bit of a tangent, but the whole point of this is like when you are finding yourself, because you said this, it's like the discernment of like, there's sometimes I will buy something and then there's times where I will not buy it at all because it's like my intuition will tell me you don't need that. That will not activate
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm like, okay. So and I think it's a surefire sign too, to know that when you know when to hire somebody and
Mm-hmm.
you know when to come to yourself. And another example too, let's say you're Oracle person. When
Mm-hmm.
you stop asking the Oracle cards to tell you and you start saying, okay, higher self, what's my message? Because you
Mm-hmm.
know that the Oracle cards are only coming from your higher self telling you
Mm-hmm.
what you already know. That's the message. And when you
Yes.
start doing that, then you see oracle cards differently. You're like, okay, that's not like even tarot. You're like, that's not telling me that this person or whatever. No, that's telling me what's happening to me now too is like I'll know something and I'll pull a card and it'll tell me exactly what I already know. And I kind of love that because it can be like instead of being like, oh, I already know that, it's like,
Mm.
thank you. That means I was correct.
Yes.
And that can
Confirmation. Yes.
build. And that can build things too. So anybody out there who's pulling oracle cards and they're just constantly telling you the same thing that you already know, that's just like the confirmation of you knowing you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. You're going the right way.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
you know what I feel is most important is that keep going. Keep going. Like if I would have listened to my husband when he said, I'm going to leave you if you go on this retreat, if I would have listened, I would not be where I am today.
Mm.
And in the beginning with the light language, oh girl, that was a whole freaking journey. That was such a journey itself. But then coming out, right? Like coming out of that closet and being like, oh wow, I'm going to put out a light language video. Oh wait, my husband is going to see. Wait, like he's never really seen me speak it, or like it's this whole, it's just the deep acceptance, taking the light action every day, showing up, even if you don't believe it, fake it till you make it, go through your fears. If you're
Your
afraid to
soul
post
knows.
it, just do it anyway. And then, you know what is so freaking amazing? As I said, when you show up as yourself, and all these people are like, "Oh, I love you so much. You're so good." And you're like, "How do you mean? I think that you're so good." Like we are all going through the same insecurities at the same
Oh,
time, right?
same time.
And
And we
and I think
are.
yes, and then you're doing it and you're putting yourself out there, and then you receive the messages and be like, wow, I was able to tap into and to receive this, and you activated me, and like, wow, wow, wow. And that is why we are here. So the people, the trolls that are always going to be there, that are like, oh my God, she is bad shit crazy. Let me be bad shit crazy. It's completely fine. I have been there, right?
In my living room.
I have been there, and I have been really working with the four agreements. So being impeccable with
Yeah.
your word, don't take anything personal, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And those first two, being impeccable with your word, and then also don't take anything personal. If you only start to work with those two, it's going to change your freaking life. So being impeccable with your word,
Impersonal.
correct. It's only a mirror.
Air projection or somebody else's something.
Agree?
And
Because yes, because we are also full of ourselves. We're only, honestly, we're just a lot of times in the 3D, we're busy with ourselves. How do I look? Oh my God, does my breath smell? Do I look fat? Do I, whatever? Like continuously, we're talking to other people and like, do I have a bad breath? Or like whatever. We're conscious, continuously only thinking about ourselves. Like in all series. And then we are um worrying about other people, like what they may think. And then when you start to realize what energy is, like all of those things is so heavy to carry.
yeah, and
It's
you're
heavy to
carrying other
carry.
people's stuff. And it's
Yeah.
something to think about yourself. And you need to think about yourself. Yes, but not in the way you've been taught, in the way of how do I serve myself and
Yes.
by showing up because like it doesn't matter if my breath is bad because if I activated someone, they're not going to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of the way of keeping us small.
Mm-hmm.
Those ways of thinking of, and this is what thinking of ourselves in a worry way of what will this person think, and eventually you'll be like, I don't care what this person thinks because I do everything out of love anyway. So here I am showing up and doing these things. And yeah, I might have bad breath. I might have this stuff, but I can't worry about that. I have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about my own energy. I got to worry about my boundaries. I got to worry, and, I can't just like pour myself into oblivion, but I cannot, these simple things that I'm worried about will keep my light from the world. And if one person sees something, and that is what matters, you know what I mean? So when you show up and know that everyone's a mirror too, just be like, that ain't about me. And just be like, and come back to yourself. And it's hard though, because you're like,
It's a full time
a
job. Like
full-time
this,
job.
it's a lifestyle. Like it's
It is.
who you are. Like in all honesty, it's who you are.
Yeah.
Um
And it's what feels
and
right.
Yes. It's like
Whether you admit it or not, it what makes your body relax.
yes. And it's this is what I want to do, even though like during my pregnancy, girl, I cried for I think 2, 3 weeks long every day, multiple times a day. I was crying, only crying. And I was moving through so many emotions and so many things have been coming up. But I wouldn't want it another way, in all honesty. It's just I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I chose this and I'm grateful to be able to meet my soul family, to connect with like-minded people because without you and so many others, like I would not be where I am today because the stuff that we talk about, sometimes I'm like, this is freaking wild. Like, this is wild. And then but it is real. It's like, it's fucked up that they're like Cocomelon. Just an example, they're starting now to do everything. They're starting to program our babies now, ever since they're babies with these shows like Cocomelon, for example. Like they just I don't it's just insane what they've created to make sure that they are what's this called? I cannot think of this word right now, but that they're just every time they want to look away, they know exactly what to do. So babies continue to be zoned in and only
Yeah.
focus, those things. So it's really sick what is really happening right now. And it's just, but we also have to accept that everybody is coming. We don't have the same mission. Not all of us have the same mission at this time and space. And that is completely fine as well. Like before, I was like, I wanted to give people advice and be like, oh, because I know this. But yeah, that was not the way to go. Because who am I? Like, it's leading by example, by who we are.
Going to change unless they want to. By us trying to control it or trying to, do that. The best way for us to do example. And there's going to be the darkness always. There has to be
Yes.
balance. There has to be balance, but it doesn't mean it has to win. But it
No,
has
and
to be
I
there. So yeah,
and I
just by you
think that
showing up holds the grid, holds the light.
yes, and I agree, and I feel like we have to embrace the darkness because when we think about the sun, we can never look directly in the sun. We need to be able to know how to thrive in the darkness to be able to see in the light. And I think that
Mhm.
all the darkness really wants is space. All it wants is love. It wants to be seen, and then we are able to move on, right? I mean, that's the same thing. The same thing is just that we are being taught to not have emotions in a way. Anger is that this is that no, like all of the answers are in emotions. Like that is where we
All of them.
find that is where we find our answers. And it's we should not be afraid to feel the fear, to feel the whatever. And I've also come to the realization, V, and I don't know if you maybe can relate to this, but I've never felt accepted anywhere. And I also know that I am not here to be accepted by anyone but myself. I'm here to be different. I'm here to steer shit up. I'm here to trigger people. I'm here to bring that medicine. And
Yeah.
it's not always easy, but seeing that it works and that is just like, wow, okay, well, yeah, that is because I stir some shit up and that is it feels good.
Yeah. And the thing about that, since you started stirring, you have found Star Family, the
Yeah.
ones who are literally like, Sabina, this is the best thing ever. And we
Yes.
freaking love you. So, and this is so weird, right? So, think about this to me, because this is like I have a husband now that accepts me completely and it's
Mhm.
very foreign. But I didn't for a very, like, for a long time, right? With stuff where, and that's not their fault, but when I decided to change my life, right? So this is what happened to you. So you're like, I need to be kind of liked. So I'm not going to step into my power. And then you're like, okay, I realized that stepping into my power does not get me liked. I'm going to do it anyway. And by stepping into your power and being that person, you have manifested people like me, Gail, other people that are like, we accept you completely. But the only way that you got there was for you to embrace yourself
Oh,
because no
yes.
one will. it's like when you can't love a fake thing.
Mhm.
So by you never feeling accepted, that's changing for you. Very recently, it's changing for you. But for
Yes.
so long, it never was. And something like you and me, we used to trigger people when we were kind of asleep and we never knew why. And it was like we didn't know what was happening. But now that we know,
Yeah.
now we know. And now that we know we have the step into this, but now we know we have this family that saw our light and is like, hell yeah. But we couldn't say hell yeah to you if you didn't step into it and just have that moment of like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
So that's, I think, a big advice right there to everyone that like can't love a plastic fake thing. I mean, you
Mhm.
can, but it's not gonna give you nothing back.
No.
So,
I feel like
so
freedom. It doesn't feel.
mm,
It does not feel real, and it's still. Honestly, my husband is still like with my language. He's like, I have no idea what you're saying. I have no idea what you're doing. I'm like, but are you supporting me? He's like, yeah, I'm supporting you. Whatever.
he's like, I don't understand it.
Even
But
if he
that's the thing
doesn't.
is, yeah, and sometimes they don't have to. Sometimes all we need is that. Sometimes Larry's like, I don't even know what's going on, Virginia, but I'm here for it. I am here 100% behind you, even though this, I don't even know. And that's all I needed. It was like, I don't need you to try to figure it out, but do you support it? Yes? All
Hmm.
right, then let's go. Because that gives me the thing of, and then if you let go of like wanting someone so much to do whatever, when you're the only person who can give yourself the love that you deserve, everything
Yeah.
else is the icing on the sweet
Hmm.
cake of yourself, then that's what we
But it
have.
is.
And it seems it's hard.
But it is like everything else is crumbling. Everything just crumbling apart, everything that we once known, and
Mm.
but not only for us, right? Because hey, we are
Oh,
stepping
the
into our
collective.
power, and then also, you know all of a sudden, certain family members or family-in-law members are starting to follow me, and I'm like, that people are going to probably say things, and he was like, Samina,
Oh,
I
yeah.
really don't care. I care only about what I think is important. So I think that that is also a thing, right? Also, being able to have a backbone and to just have clear boundaries. Like, if you don't believe in
Yeah.
what I'm doing, that's just fine. But can we agree to disagree? And still just, I have, right? I mean, I have a friend, a soul sister, and her path is very different than mine. I've been doing a lot working with plant medicine. I still work with plant medicine. And I just love plant medicine. That's part of being a mother of the earth, right? Like being an earth mom. That is just part of my journey. And she has a different journey. And we don't have to agree on what we are doing, but we are coming together with the
Yes.
same wisdom, realization, expanding and rising together. And I think that that is the most important thing. Like, I love my blood family, but soul family, that is at a whole another level.
Yeah, and the blood family is here to teach us the lessons, and some of them are part of our soul family, and some of them are not. Some of them are not, and it's okay. It's all okay.
Mhm.
We've been encouraged like, oh, it's family, it's blood, it's you can't do anything, and it's like, yes, you can because we all have a
Mhm.
choice,
Yeah.
and they have a choice too. If they're not choosing to choose themselves or whatever, that's on them, and that's why you have to have that thing inside of yourself that even if no one likes you or no one likes it, still be yourself because someone will, because they're
Mhm.
waiting for that's how this works. That's how this works is by having the boundaries and having the things of knowing that inside you are your own person, your own one that can give you that love. And so if you look for it outside of yourself, you're going to be empty. And that is even with your blood family and soul family, because you have to have you first. So when it comes to the soul family, sometimes that part is they get to come in and see you and whatever when you're born, especially we're breaking some of this, but the family thing is like it's been for so long is that you were born into this is now you're attached to
Mhm.
this is who you are when our soul is only picking this for this lifetime to do that. That means that the bonds there are there, but they're not like your own soul. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, yeah.
It does, and I think that is also what is important to know is that, especially as parents, we don't own our children. Like, they're not ours. We are here to keep them safe. We are here to take care of them. And a
Provide
lot of
a space.
times, yes, and a lot of times, it's very easy to break their spirits because they're so free. They're free beings, and they're exactly everything that we are now working on to become again, right? So, for example, with our children, they always speak their truth, like they always do. Why would we stop them? Like, we are now showing up doing all this work, and then we want to control our children. Don't do this, don't do that. And I remember my husband the other day, the girls, they wanted to do a play date at their friend's house. And their friends, she always eats dinner or warm food at school. So, but my children, they don't. So my husband was like, "Oh, but our children, they still need to eat because they need to have dinner." And then the mom was like, "Well, I don't have anything at home." So my daughter was like, my youngest, Lois, she was like, "Well, then you just make us something, right?" So my husband was like, "She said that, and I don't think that you can say it." I said, "Why not? She's right, right? If you don't have anything at home yet, then you just prepare something. You just make something."
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't in a way of like, you're a bad person, you're this, you're that, you're this or that. It's like, yeah, yeah. So I really much believe that, that's where we got caught from our generations and stuff like that. And we can change it. Definitely change it. Definitely.
He was feeling some shame around that. But
Yeah.
actually, she's right. There's no shame. She's just speaking her truth. And it's true.
Yeah.
Whether she wants to do it or not, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Right?
was just what she was
So
saying.
it's,
But
yeah,
yeah.
so it's, they teach us to be in a moment, to always be honest and sorry,
That's
to
okay.
not do things that, we don't want to do.
Yeah, I really yeah. So I feel like my final question usually is what advice, but I feel like our whole podcast was advice.
I mean, advice, I think it's not advice, it's what we have been living. It's what we have been
Yeah.
going through. It's been our journey. And if this calls to you, just be you, be different. I know when I just had the baby, I said 40 days, I want to contain their energy, right? I don't want other people's energy in my house. And my husband was like, "Well, how do you mean? But this person wants to come and this person." I said, "Well, I don't care because, this is my boundary. This is what I don't want." And I think that, always just honor yourself. It doesn't really matter what other people like. We cannot live our lives to please other people. And I've never been a people pleaser. I don't know about you. I've never really been. I always spoke my truth, but not necessarily that I always speak my truth coming from the heart. So that is what I'm
Yeah.
now really tapping into.
Doing it from
Speaking
the
my
heart.
truth coming from the heart. So not having any emotions towards other people when I'm speaking, but still being clear, like being
Yeah.
very clear. And I feel like sharing one thing. I would really like to share one thing that has been a part of my journey that has been so magical. When the first time when I went to a beautiful retreat in Costa Rica, I went there and I've been speaking to the universe, like, I really want to go on holiday. And then in the beginning with my family, in the beginning, the money part was a huge challenge for me. I was like, how I'm going to do that. And then later on, a couple months later, I released it. I just said into the universe, I'm gonna go on a holiday with my family somewhere. I went to Costa Rica. I connected with this beautiful soul sister of mine, and we've been there for 7 days. And she calls me like 1 or 2 weeks later, and she's like, "Hey, sister, what are you doing with Christmas break, like with your family and everything?" I said, "No yet, because I'm going to spend the time with my family." And she was like, "Do you want to go on a cruise with me?" And I said to her, I said, I would love to, like, because we were all able to go, but just the money part was because I
Yeah.
just went to Costa Rica. I just did the retreat, and I did so many things already that year. And I told her, I said, I would really love to, but I'm not at a place right now that I'm able to go yet. You know what she told me? She said, "Don't worry about it. I got you." I said, "How do you mean? You and your family. Just come. Tell me, tell me whatever you need." And we just met. And why the reason that I want to share this is that when we are open, when we are releasing control, what we have been talking about, right? Control and all of that, this is how God provides for us. Because if I would have been in the way, something as magical as this would have never happened to me. I was taking on a free holiday by a soul sister that I just met in the same month, right? It was during the beginning of December that I went. She took me and my whole family. And this was not just a regular cruise, right? This was a fancy cruise. Like, this was not just your regular cruise. And it was like 21 days. We started in, where did we start? I think we started in Chile. We went to Uruguay. We went to Argentina. And it was magical. So when we surrender, when we truly do it, when we truly believe in ourselves and our worth and everything, is like people that are here. And when she asked me, I said no, because I was like, other people are going to think that I'm a user, like that I use people just because for money. And I didn't even
Old
know that
programming.
she was living that life. So I really had to sit with myself and be like, am I worthy of this? Coming back to self-worth, right? Am I worthy of
Yeah.
something like this? And you know what she told me? She said, "You know what, sister? Do you remember when we were talking about our legacy, what your mission is? If the only reason that you were saying no to this cruise because we were going to open up portals, like we were doing grit work,
Yeah.
also in the boat." And she said, "If the only reason why you're saying no because of this money, this is God coming through me, taking you and your family on this holiday. It is only money. Like, to me, it's nothing. Like, it's, you see? So it's
Yeah.
just, I just want to remind
Surrender.
everyone to surrender and to not get in the way, because, honestly, I mean, when I spoke that into the universe, when I just spoke my intention, my intent, my desire, would I ever think that something like this would happen to me? Like, let's
Yeah. That's why the universe knows better than us.
So that is just, I want to share, like, and this is just one part. Like, so many magical things have been happening for me, but this is a big one because this was not only for me. This
Your
was me and
family.
my family, and we're four people, not
Yeah.
five, but at the time we were
Yeah.
four.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I
it's
think
just,
that's a really big advice for everyone is surrender because when you're on this path, it doesn't make any sense. Things will show up to you and it doesn't make any sense, especially when you're waking up and you're choosing the path that your soul will. That path of the soul will open up doors and all this stuff for you. And even if you're at the beginning of this journey, too, when you're just waking up, surrender. Surrender,
yes.
and it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it. Surrender to what's happening because that is your soul waking up. That is the desires that you want, the things that you want to do, the power that you feel growing in you, the light language that's coming through, the aliens that you're seeing. All of it is all
Mhm.
part of this, and you have to, because none of it's going to make sense to how you were raised ever. Even if you were raised by the most hippy dippy person, it's still going to be persons that's going to
Mhm.
be like, it's going to come. So I feel like that advice right there from you and that story is just like surrender. And you admitted, you're like, I said no. And then I actually was like, okay, I'm actually doing a disservice to myself because the whole part of this waking up and being out of the matrix is to not live in lack.
Yes, and I think that also you know what is also a big lesson there before we forget is this is that, you know, I spoke my intent. I intend to go on holiday, to do something with my family. I spoke it into existence. Then the universe gave it to me because we cannot forget money comes through people. So money comes through people. Remember this, because that is God gifting it to me. So I desire something, I have a dream, and then it comes to me, and I'm going to say no. Like, what are we doing? And there's many of us, like, because it doesn't happen in a way that we want to control. It was never to happen in that way, because if you were going to control it, then it would not happen because Elsa would already have been here. So
Yeah.
we need to get out of our own way to be open and to be aware of, okay, wait, this is happening. I asked for this and it shows up in a different way. Say yes. Say yes to
Yeah.
yourself because God uses people, you know, for it to come
The universe does
through
that.
them. The universe says yes. So if you feel like you don't deserve it, then it says yes, you don't deserve it. So it's all up
Yeah.
to us, one foot and in front of the other, one leap at a time, because the other one will reveal itself when we are saying yes to the first leap. So it's just, and I know that you can also relate to that because this is what you and I have been doing. This is the journey that we have been on in the past couple of months. Just say,
Yeah.
okay, I am so scared. I don't know if I want to do this, like, but I'm still doing it anyway. I just let
Anyway.
everything, I just let everything just come.
Yeah, and it's been a road, but it's been so worth it. Been painful, but so worth it. But not painful in the way when I used to be asleep and sad. It's painful in a different way, like growing pains or
Mhm.
like being stretched. So know that. Know it's different. It's different. Your body will tell you, your intuition will tell you. If you just listen, you take those moments and give yourself the grace. So, all right, everyone. This was fire.
This was really,
So fire. I'm going to leave her stuff in the show notes where you can get in contact with her. She's got an Instagram and a website and TikTok, oh, for TikTok, all these things. And, for both of us. But I just hope that this conversation helps somebody out there just to know that you're not alone with these things.
hmm
And it's not weird. It's
it's
literally
not, it's,
aligned. It doesn't mean it doesn't feel weird because of being in the human experience. What's gonna the feel? You gotta feel it, you
yes.
know. But yeah, so thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Oh, do you have anything else you want to say real quick?
No, thank you. I love you. I think that you are amazing. And thank you for this invitation. And this is only the beginning.
It's only the
Yeah, this
beginning.
is only the beginning.
We're gonna do this.
Yes.
All right, everyone. I'm sending love, light, and authenticity your way. Stay tuned for another episode soon.